Paperback Rocker, episode 68.
Hey, this is Matt Severson, the Paperback Rocker, and I'm broadcasting from my 6x9 foot cinder block shack in the desert of northern Mexico, southern Texas. Welcome and thanks for checking out my show.
It's hot outside. It's hot inside. It's Texas, y'all. What do you expect?
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your old friend Matt, the Paperback Rocker, back with my Paperback Rocker podcast. How are you? I will be reading today, yet again, from Blue Whiskey, volume 13 today, and it will be starting on page 76. I don't know if I've mentioned that these books that I write and read on here are available on Kindle and paperback and hardback in most cases. The best way to purchase one is to go to Amazon and Google my name, Matt Severson, or contact me directly if you can't find them, and I'll either provide you with a link or I will sell you one or more and have them shipped directly to you. Hope you're enjoying this so far. I am. And as I mentioned, we are going to start on page 76. Contact me at paperbackrocker@live.com. Let me know your thoughts on anything. Okay. When last we read, Stanton Wheelhouse III had been preparing for his first show. They have built a small stage in the back of the Thirsty Possum over the course of a week using some old pallets. But as he prepared mentally and also rehearsed at the little bench where he goes all the time, he has developed something of a rage inside him, convincing himself that everybody wants him to fail. Okay, so he is going to, and also Bourbon Street, all the eateries and such have voluntarily closed down for the evening in order to come support Stanton and Reuben at the Thirsty Possum down at the end of Bourbon Street. Sorry, I was just adjusting a couple levels here. And they have done that on Sunday night so they could make their good Saturday money. So they are closed on Sunday night. And everybody is going to be at the show. Finally, Sunday came and I slept late after finally falling asleep well into the morning. I was debilitated with nerves and misguided rage, and I couldn't leave my pallet when I woke. I see now how ridiculous it was, but I had convinced myself that the world wanted to see me step off that stage, humiliated and in tears. I laid there seething and watching the second hand of Reuben's alarm clock travel its circumference until I was in a hypnotized stupor. All of this was proving too much for my system, which was threatening to shut down even before the experience. I could feel something like an epileptic fit threatening to quake from deep inside me. Reuben appeared over me, tapping at me with his foot. I was muttering curses through gritted teeth, staring at the clock, and had not noticed his presence. "My God, man," he said, "you've worked yourself into a frenzy. You're drooling." I shook my head and tried to play it off. "What are you talking about? I'm fine." I just heard you wishing that all the children of New Orleans had been aborted." Hold on, I gotta change the level again. Sorry. Check. Okay. "I just heard you wishing that all the children of New Orleans had been aborted. What's gotten into you? This is your big night." "Reuben, they want me to fail." I looked up at him with tears in my eyes. I was like a beaten dog, too weak to fight anymore. "What? They most certainly do not. Where did you get that stupid idea?" "They wouldn't come see me on Saturday night. They didn't want to risk anything." Why should they? They've got bills to pay. And Saturday night's what does that. Check your ego, young Stanton. You should be happy they're coming at all. I thought your glass was half full. God, I completely forgot, I said. I'm sorry, Reuben. You haven't got a thing to apologize to me for, Stanton. You're overthinking this. Snap out of it and get your head on straight before your show. It's the Masters of War you want to be angry at, not the audience. I'm so glad you reminded me, I said. Thanks for reminding me about my glass, too. There may seem to be a lot of pressure on you, but there's not. You're just playing some songs in a dive bar at the end of Bourbon Street. The people here tonight will want you to do well. They're on your side, Stanton. They very well could be your first fans. Don't forget that. I'd convinced myself the exact opposite, I said. I know we'll fix you, Reuben said. Happy first gig. He reached beside him to the bed and extended a guitar. I sat up, confused at first, thinking Reuben's old beater had been given a touch-up. I examined the instrument and saw that it was a Gibson Western-style big body. I was awestruck at his generosity. Oh, my God, Reuben, how could you do this? It was easy, numbskull. I've never paid you. Haven't you noticed? He had paid me, but not much, just enough to eat and buy clothes in thrift stores. I never thought much about it, to tell you the truth. I'll always treasure it, and I'll always remember you bought it for me, I said, with tears welling once again. Thank me in the liner notes of your first album, he said, walking away. Come sweep and mop the bar. That'll take your mind off things, and break a leg tonight. I sat cross-legged, examining the wonderful lacquered creation for a moment, then rushed downstairs to perform my job. Reuben was smart. The work did distract me. 7 o'clock came and people trickled in. Reuben came over to me nonchalantly and said, Shift's over, Stanton. He smiled like a new father. We don't want the crowd to see the star of the show rolling kegs, do we? I smiled at him, speechless. Go tune your new guitar and play it hard and tune it again over and over. The strings are new and they need to stretch. The salesman told me. He's coming tonight, by the way, part of the deal. What about the PA, I asked. The guys from the Liquid Lounge are loaning it to us. It'll be here by 9. I can't pass 2 hours up there in your room, I said. I'll go crazy like a caged animal. Take these, Reuben said, handing me 2 black and white capsules. Open the window to let the smoke out. He handed me 2 packs of Lucky Strikes. You're going to do great. Now run along up to my room. I'll send someone to get you when it's time. Thanks, Reuben, I said. I popped the pills on my way up the stairs. Up in Reuben's room, sitting on the bed, I tortured the steel strings and retuned them 100 times. The minutes seemed like hours, and I mentally recited the lyrics to my songs over and over. I was an infrequent smoker before this day, but I went through the first pack of Lucky non-filters in an hour. At 8:45, I realized I didn't have a guitar strap, and thoughts of panic crept in like brain spiders. I lit another cigarette and smoked it as fast as I could while my mind scrambled for a solution. Reuben's guitar had no strap since it was always played sitting. I removed my belt and pondered how I could transform it. I saw a pair of worn-out Chuck Taylors under Reuben's dresser, and a plan was formulated. I stripped the laces from the shoes and tied one end to the belt buckle and one to the first hole on the other end of the belt, then knotted them to the Gibson strap pegs. Just as I finished, the door at the bottom of the stairs opened, and I could hear the crowds murmuring. My senses were heightened and my scalp tingled. I noticed my jaw was making strange movements. I realized it had been doing so for a while. It's time, Stanton, called a girl's voice. I stood up from the bed and tried on my new guitar. The length of the strap wasn't perfect. The Gibson was slung low, unlike the way most guys had it up close to the chest in those days, but I didn't have time to adjust it. I felt a sense of accomplishment regardless. The evening's first challenge had been overcome. I walked toward the stairs, but stopped in front of the dresser's mirror to examine myself. I stretched my neck to each side, and my bones popped. My muscles were tense, and I realized I needed to relax. I opened my mouth as wide as I could in an attempt to get my jaw under control. "Calm down," I said, and took a deep breath. I thought all these symptoms were due to nerves. I had completely forgotten taking the pills. I went downstairs. When I emerged from the door with my guitar, I heard people say, "There he is." They didn't clap. I hadn't earned any applause. I kept my head down, watching my feet walk to the stage and step up onto it. There was an X taped onto it that wasn't there before, and I understood this was where I was supposed to stand. I saw a microphone on a short stand at waist level to capture my guitar playing, but there was no microphone for my vocals. Standing on the X, I said, "My name's Stanton. These are my songs." The crowd murmured, and I detected they could not hear me. Reuben rushed up to the front of the stage, and I leaned over to hear what he had to say. "They forgot the microphone stand, Stanton. They've strung it up from the rafters." He pointed, and I saw the vocal mic lowering from the ceiling. Reuben walked back to the bar. I surveyed the house for the first time and saw it was at capacity. The microphone slowly descended and stopped at a point around my forehead. I craned up to it and said, "My name is Stanton Wheelhouse, and these are my songs." There was a smattering of applause, but mostly I heard people greeting each other and yelling drink orders at Reuben. "This is What Would Jesus Do?" I said, and launched into my opening number. Decades later, the name of the song would resurrect, just like the subject of the tune. I made a lot of money off that, but I didn't keep it. Due to the microphone situation, I had to cock my head at an unnatural angle, which had me staring at the ceiling. On top of that, my guitar was slung so low that I must have looked incredibly strange to that first crowd, a real unwashed phenomenon. When I finished the song, the house erupted. "He doesn't have to look at the guitar," I heard in the space before the next song, along with many other statements about how strange and different I was. I was just coping with the situation, and anything beyond that was purely accidental. I felt a bit like some lizard from halfway around the world in a zoo's herpetarium. I played 2 more songs in quick succession, and there was mad applause afterward, which I was not prepared to acknowledge properly. It was embarrassing in a way, and I didn't react by throwing my arms up like some pop star. I lowered my head and played my flamenco instrumental, Bolerito, instead. When I finished, I felt the energy of the crowd pulse through me. I knew they wanted me to succeed. That was a load off my mind. I played the next 3 songs, then stopped and looked for the first time out at the throng of faces staring back at me. Everyone was smiling, and each person looked like they wanted to be nowhere else. Something was happening. They clapped and cheered wildly. "I believe we've made friends tonight," I said, and the crowd cheered again with enthusiastic agreement. "It feels good to be in with you." This simple turn of phrase was adopted a few years later when the first Human Be-In was held in San Francisco. Jefferson Airplane and the Grateful Dead played. I'm not sure if I coined the term, but the way things traveled on the grapevine of vagabonds between NO and SF, New Orleans and San Francisco, I think maybe I did. From somewhere deep inside me, a latent performer was coming to life on that tiny stage. I spontaneously decided to lighten the mood and launched into the revised version of The Shrimp and the Whale. As a result of my craning to the overhead microphone and my lack of a belt, my pants fell to my ankles halfway through the song. I didn't know what to do, so I just smiled and kept playing. I had unknowingly created my first novelty song, and the reaction of the crowd informed me that it would not be my last. This was a move Dylan never would have made, for he was no self-deprecator. It set me apart from him right from the beginning. My pants never fell down again, but I employed humor in my songs and performances from then on. It was perfect comic timing, although it was all just enchanted serendipity like everything else. Years later, I read a very serious dissertation regarding my performance methods, which came to the conclusion that I had painstakingly planned every move I had ever made. Trust me, I didn't. The article said I always played a light-hearted song at just the right spot in the set, so as not to appear high-minded and judgmental. I was called an everyman, which has haunted me throughout my career. I haven't said it publicly, but if this mythical everyman could do what I do, wouldn't he? Please forgive my ego, but I'm damn sick of that guy. Every man can't be a carpenter or heart surgeon or preacher either. The only everyman I ever met worked as first mate on the Miss Lucy, and he was the scourge of humanity. I played my last 3 songs, which I can't remember, but have been documented by those who have written what they think is my story. The only memory I retain regarding that trio of tunes is that I entered a trance-like performance state for the first time that I have come to refer to as the tunnel, and it's a place where every men are not welcome. This is a state I've discussed with many musicians, and it is nearly universal. The tunnel cannot be entered until a musician is competent at his instrument. Okay, I think I'll stop there. The tunnel is a big part of the story, so let's give it its proper introduction at the beginning of next episode, which will be number 69. And we have we're basically at the top of page 81 in this beautiful hardback, which is available at Amazon or from me. Drop me a line, paperbackrocker@live.com. I hope you're enjoying the story. Thanks for being with me. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.
The Paperback Rocker has signed off.